We are about 4 months away from the release of the S26 Ultra. And yet, in every sale, everyone recommends the S24 Ultra every time. So I bought it in one of those sales just to see if there are any real sacrifices that you will have to make by buying a phone that launched at the start of 2024 while you're 3 months away from 2026. I have understood it and I will tell you all about it in the next few minutes. Starting with the materials, looks and the in-hand feel, there are not much sacrifices involved. The phone comes with a titanium frame with Gorilla Glass armor on the front and Victus 2 on the back of the phone. Gorilla Glass armor is still one of the strongest available materials from Corning. And this phone also remains one of the only 5 phones that still has an anti-glare coating to cut reflections. The other ones being the S25 Ultra and the iPhone 17 series. And if you ask most people, this sharp cornered look, it is more iconic than the S25 Ultra. Is it uncomfortable? Yes. Is it iconic? A lot more. But the sides are curved, making this the more comfortable phone when you compare it to the S25 Ultra. The reception remains excellent and much better than any average iPhone or Pixel. The speakers are loud, but if you're looking for super strong, super tight haptics, that you'll have to sacrifice. The S24 Ultra haptics are good, but there are phones like the OnePlus 13, the iPhones and the Pixels that do much better when it comes to haptics. So unless you live for haptics, you're good. Moving on to the part that still dominates no matter which phone you compare this one with is the display. I am still in love with how good dark mode looks on this phone. Simply because most phones in dark mode turn into mirrors. The mostly black screen reflects the world around it, so you will see the ceiling, the lights or anything else. The same happens with light mode when you're outside. But what the S24 Ultra does differently is it has a coating that cuts down those reflections. So in dark mode, the phone is just black. You don't see your ceiling staring back at you, and in light mode while outside, the screen still shows content better than any other phone today. Of course, it is very much capable of big brightness numbers under the sun and also while watching content. But this coating is what regularly fascinates me and makes my day-to-day experience a lot better. So even for its reduced price or higher flagship price, it is very hard to match the S24 Ultra, let alone beat it when it comes to the display. But something that remains very much beatable by other phones in the same price as the S24 Ultra or a higher price is the battery life. If you are someone who always has their AOD on during the day, you like to make sure the screen resolution is always set to max at Quad HD, you have mixed usage over Wi-Fi and 5G, you like to click pictures, make calls, text throughout the day, use social media throughout the day, you will exhaust the battery of this phone within 13 to 15 hours. And the screen on time will be about 6 or 7 hours, which is not much as smartphones today can easily make it to 20 or 24 hours of usage with more than 8 hours of screen on time. When you switch to Full HD from Quad HD, you see a higher SOT, but the usage still remains limited to 14 or 15 hours at the most. And all of these results come from heavy usage. If you do not want the AOD to be on during the day at all times, you're not clicking too many pictures or watching all your content on the phone, you will still get better battery life than this. With the Ultra in the name, you expect ultra endurance, but that is not entirely true with this phone. But when we talk about charging the phone, you need a PPS charger and a very capable cable. Which brings me to the accessories I used with the S24 Ultra. First up, the Capes India Maglock 4-in-1 cable. It's capable of 240 watt output, but the special thing about this cable? Magnets, which the S24 Ultra does not have when it comes to charging. It's a flat magnetic cable, so it folds and rolls up neatly and you can still pull out just as much as you need to keep the mess at a bare minimum. While it's USB-C to C, it also comes with a USB-A and a lightning connector that you attach when you need them, and when you don't, they stick to the side of the USB-C connectors via, you guessed it, magnets. And alongside this, if you want a case, Capes India makes that too. The Clear Armor Anti-Yellow MagSafe case. A transparent case that has not turned yellow in my use. It's not slim, flimsy or cheap, but actually strong and protective. The magnets on the back are some of the strongest I've used for the price. And links are in the description for both of these products, and my thanks to Capes India for sponsoring this part of the video. What is much better than the battery life here is the performance. It does come with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, which is very much an excellent processor to this day, if not the best. Couple it with the fastest storage you can get right now, you get a phone that is simply extreme amounts of smooth. Apps open fast, stay in the RAM for long. I've never seen this phone choke, suffer in any manner. Be it editing photos with AI, editing reels on Instagram Edits app, I have not seen this phone suffer at any point. If you play a super heavy game like Withering Waves, the game runs really well for the first 15 minutes, and after that you start to see some stutters, which is not at all bad for a phone that came out 18 months ago. See, running this game causes an extreme amount of load on the GPU, which is why S25 Ultra also shows these stutters when you run the game for more than 30 minutes on the phone. Heat also remains very well managed on this phone. Apart from gaming or clicking a lot of pictures, the phone barely ever heats up for me. Under the sun, it can run warm on a hot day, but that's true for every phone. So sacrifices remain very limited when it comes to the performance on the S24 Ultra. The camera here is weird. The hardware remains excellent, at least when you look at the main sensor, the telephoto and the ultrawide. You get some of the most excellent details in every image. The colors that come with them are rich, saturated and instantly catch the eye. The reds are deep, the skies are bright and the greens vivid. The camera owns the word rich, and this applies to the main, periscope and the ultrawide. Even the portraits look incredible. These lenses are excellent and can compete well with the phones today. The only thing I will complain about is that the moment when you get even a little closer to the subject, the camera wants to switch to the ultrawide for clicking a macro shot. As a person who likes clicking close-ups and textures, this ruins it for me. But the much bigger issues come with the 3x telephoto lens. Tiny sensor kills it. The results are just bad. The colors, the processing, the noise and the lack of resolution are all so visibly bad. Samsung honestly could have just doubled down on 2x rather than adding the 3x lens, because just to look at these differences. 5x does a brilliant job and the 3x gives flat, noisy, lifeless output, just the opposite of rich. Further, the selfie camera on this phone is weird. Samsung over time did not fix it because it has been an issue since launch. The skin tones continue to be very weird. They swing between too yellow and too dark and never quite right. They are never accurate, which defeats the whole purpose of having the selfie camera. The details also have a very processed look to them. Simply, this does not stand well with the current crop of flagship phones. But the videos lie on the other end of the spectrum. HDR is managed well, stabilization is one of the best in the industry, colors look great and the skin tones also look really nice. So the phone can compete with the 2025 flagships in terms of videos. Yes, they may be better, but they're also more expensive. Not to forget that this phone is fully capable of 4K video at 120 FPS in the promo, if you want those super cool slow motion shots. So yes, even by today's standards, despite the disadvantages, this remains a top-tier camera for the price. But if you ask me the one thing you absolutely do not need to sacrifice anything on, the answer to that will be the software on this phone. Credit to Samsung for making sure all of its older flagships get access to all of the latest software features they come up with. The only new feature of the S25 Ultra that the S24 Ultra does not have is the Now Brief, which is expected to show up with the One UI 8 update. The rest are all available on the S24 Ultra, and let me give you my experience with the best features that I came across on this phone. Generative AI editing in the Gallery app is honestly the best in the industry at this point. It is extremely fast and, most importantly, very smart and accurate. If there's something to remove, the AI is smart enough to erase even the shadows. Then comes the call recording and transcription on this app. It transcribes all conversations extremely well and shows them in this conversation form. Better yet, if you happen to click on any of the message boxes here, it starts playing the audio. Then you also have the option to summarize the transcription. Comes in handy when you're on a sales call or just having an important conversation through a phone call. But just make sure that your conversations are in English, because in other languages, or basically the Indian languages, it does not do that great of a job. And of course, this was the first phone to get AI in the keyboard itself, which made it possible to proofread, rewrite or change the tone of anything you write, no matter which app you use. This feature was only recently implemented in Google's Gboard. And the fact that most of these new features will continue to arrive on the S24 Ultra is just the best thing you can ask for when you're buying a phone that came out 18 months ago. In terms of overall smoothness, that has also remained consistent on the phone. It does not slow down, it does not show stutters, it does not show any signs of aging. I've only seen a couple of bugs, once where the phone's UI just switched to a lower frame rate, or certain buttons in certain apps will just stop responding. Like the comments tab on the YouTube app stopped responding until I switched to another video, and they've been so one-off and rare that I don't even have footage to show you. So, in most regards, One UI 7 has not only been one of the biggest updates, but also one of the most stable ones. So the software does not have any sacrifices. The camera does have some, but it excels a lot more in other places. The performance will be more than enough for most people. The battery life does have sacrifices, but the design and display do not. Sure, there are phones with bigger batteries, faster charging, higher benchmarks, but none of them will offer the display this one does, the design this one does, the Bluetooth S Pen this one does, and the software and AI prowess this one does. And the fact that I can say this, the fact that there are still features that only this phone can provide for the price, tells us that even if there are sacrifices, they're nearly not enough for this phone to be not recommendable. So, if you find this phone under the price of 75,000, get it without a second thought.